Hi everyone, welcome back, or welcome if this is your first time to Heart and Soul Woman. My name is Kim, and today I want to share with you, I have a beautiful new deck of cards which I purchased last weekend at a shop in Byron Bay in New South Wales in Australia, and I want to talk to you a bit about the energy of fairies and the elementals. And the backstory of that for me was, as a little girl, I had a lot of unparented time on my hands, and whenever I had the opportunity, I would take off and go to the bush, and I'm talking about from 5 years of age on, and I would go and build fairy houses and talk to the fairies and just be in that beautiful energy and space, and I was happy and just really balanced out. A bit of a challenging childhood for me, and then of course life happens and we grow and other things come in, and I forgot about the fairies for a little while, and until I met my now partner Mike, and in 2010, and he reminded me about nature and the elementals and the fairies, and I've really invited them back into my life. We were recently in Tasmania, and we spent some time in the wilderness there, and the most magnificent spaces where I was just felt incredibly connected to the fairy realm and to the elementals. And it was a really strong message for me of reminding me that just because we can't see them doesn't mean they don't exist. And for me, it's that beautiful, grounded, very connected energy of when we're in nature, and we really pay attention to the trees, and we become very conscious that there is so much more going on than we often give credit for and acknowledge, because we get so busy in our lives and we have so much stimulation coming towards us. So if you're a sensitive person, and generally the people that are attracted to my work are sensitive, then I want to remind you today of allowing yourself to really tap into the support of the elementals that are there. And it's as simple as paying attention when you go into nature, noticing how you're feeling. If you've got particular questions, ask those questions and allow the responses to come. I remember a particular time when we were walking through a national park in northern Sydney, it was southern Sydney, in a national park, and I came to a particular place and there was loads of butterflies, and it made me stop and go, oh, the fairies are really around here. And there was something that I was grappling with that I said, okay, I'm ready to release this. I'm going to hand this over to the fairies, and I release this from my energy field. It's no longer serving me. It was something that I was worrying about. So I released it, and days later I received a phone call about the thing that I had released, and it had come back to me at no financial cost to myself, and in the most magnificent way. And I was like, thank you, fairies, thank you so much, that was amazing. So there's so much opportunity for us to be supported by nature, by the elementals, and I'd love to hear of your experiences. Please share them in the comments. So I'm going to share with you this beautiful new deck that I have, the Fairy Oracle, which is by Lucy Cavendish, an absolute fairy herself, and just beautiful energy. So I thought that I would go ahead and pull a card for us today and see what the message of the fairies is for us today. So I'm still building a relationship with this deck. It's brand new. So I'm just going gently with it, and as I continue to put oh, there you go, it's showing us straight away. Fantastic. They're so pretty. Sacred geometry that's occurring in there is just beautiful. So we've got dark moon, maturation, growing up, introspection, know thyself, and it's an absolutely beautiful card. So this feels to me, without even reading the book, that this is about that space where we go within. So in the dark moon phase, where we would, this is like deep winter, where we would hibernate a little bit. So at the end of the moon cycle, this is where we would, go within, not be so out there. We would go in and, during the times that if we're women that were still bleeding, we would be going to the moon lodge, and we would be meditating, and we would be praying for the guidance for what crops we were going to plant for the upcoming season, and anything that was needed. So also for all of us, that we can be guided by the moon. Right now, when I'm recording this, we're in the third quarter of the moon, so we're heading towards the dark moon. Some people like to call it the empty moon. And so in those 3 days of the dark moon phase, that's the opportunity for us to be less out there and more inward, reflecting on the cycle that has passed. This is the time that, premenstrually, we would look at. These are the times that things can irritate us, things that have occurred during the cycle that we might have, kind of just pushed aside. But these irritations can come up at this time. Now, they're there for us to take a look at, what's our part in this. What do we want to let go of that no longer serves us? And we can write these things down, and then we release them. We can either burn them in a little cauldron, we can, bury them, rip them up, whatever, transform them in some way, so that we release them from our energy and we don't carry them around. When we carry the same stories around and around, they just build and they cause us suffering, they cause us pain. Hence, premenstrual, cramping and pain. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't other reasons for that, but this is a very connected way to live our lives. So during this dark moon phase, we can, we can be really looking at the things that we want to release, what's no longer serving us. And this is what this card is asking for us. This is where we mature, we grow to the next phase of ourselves, growing up, introspection, know thyself. And this is the point. We want to get to know ourselves. We don't want to make ourselves wrong. We want to understand ourselves. So hence for me, being, part of the fairies, being connected to the fairies is something that's really important to me, really important to me. I bring the fairies in my Reiki sessions. They help with the healing. They bring the energy through. They bring the messages through. This is called Lily, the kind-hearted fairy. And my mama gave me this fairy a long time ago. She recognized in me what was important in me. So, as always, don't just take what I say as gospel. Create your own experience of this. Go into nature, connect with the elementals. You might even see them and, see them as those little lights, little flashes of lights. They're very quick. And just because you don't see them doesn't mean they're not there. It's about feeling into their energy. So I look forward to hearing your stories if you care to share them. And, nature is our greatest gift. It's our opportunity to calm our nervous system down. We have so much support available to us if we open up to it. So loads of love coming your way. Be gentle, be kind with yourself, little fairies. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye now.